Meow.
All right, welcome to No Crying in the Cool Room. This is episode 8. This is two chefs who have got together, made a podcast, and we are basically sharing our traumas from a lifetime in the chefing industry, and then also fucking love that chefing industry, bro. That's what we were talking about just then.
Yeah.
We're not haters.
No.
We love the game.
No, I love chefing.
I just feel like
I love hospo.
the first few episodes is just us trying to figure this thing out, and then also share some of the war stories.
Yeah.
But I'm a positive guy. I like chefing, dude.
People understand.
I'll be a chef for life. That's kind of was the idea behind one of my comedy festival things.
Yeah.
You're just a chef doing other shit.
You're never out.
Yeah.
Definitely
You're that
not.
guy.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if you've done 1 or 2 years, but 15.
Yeah, you're never out. You're never not out. Like, never not.
Yeah.
Yep, what I said before.
Also, just want to do a quick thank you to everyone who's been listening. We have 206 subscribers on YouTube. We've got what are we at? 1 million TikTok views.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you very much.
Well over 1 million across all channels too. Shit.
And then now the reels on Instagram are getting 25 and 30K a reel, and people are sharing stories, and that's fucking sick.
Yeah.
That's the best part of this.
That's what we're all about. That's why we started it.
Yeah. How's the week? Good?
I had a good week. Super busy, but like good busy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any good food? What's happening?
Yeah, like bunch of fucking cool Wagyu today.
Yeah. Like what? Do you go out to what do you do? Do you go out to a farm and you get to see the real cow?
Well, this place is called Selective Meats, but I mean, it sounds like every other butcher, but it's not really a butcher. So they have like the distribution for like Margaret River Wagyu, bunch of other stuff.
Are they an abattoir or what?
No, I think it arrives in joints. I don't think they break it down from quarters or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then they distribute and backpack and for restaurants, not to the public until now. So they were like, yeah.
All right.
Can you help us with that? So I've been doing a bit of filming for them.
And what's out there? It's good?
Yeah, holy shit. So good. Because they have the distribution, this is going to sound like a fucking ad, but because they have the distribution, they're so cheap. Like fucking cheap. But you can't buy it because they have a storefront now. So that's the idea behind that. But you can get like, dude, like, I don't know, brisket, what we used to buy it for and stuff like that. But it's like Wagyu. Because they have the distribution, they have the direct line.
Is a Wagyu brisket good?
I wouldn't recommend it. Like, I didn't even know why you'd fucking use it.
Yeah.
Like,
what's that going to do?
But you I mean, in my opinion, use like a nice Angus or even like legitimately the cheapest bullshit you can get from Costco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but you want good fat.
Cooked.
But
absolutely.
you don't, I wouldn't say you'd want
It's so much loss.
heaps of fat.
So much loss in a slow cook.
Yeah, and imagine, wouldn't it be like properly smoking it up and putting your fire out and stuff if it's dripping hard? I'm talking out my ass. I'm not like a smoke point expert.
Well, I mean, neither am I really, but in my opinion, that's why the fuck would you use it?
Yeah.
Unless you're using it for like to say using Wagyu beef, like who gives a shit?
I think that's been a big thing.
And maybe you're getting it for cheaper than people think, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because you've got to be selective. I think that's been a big thing on the Wagyu front, you know, for ages, especially at the end of my career and stuff. But I was quite selective. I was like, well, I definitely want it. I saw a sirloin picture. I want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fillets look like.
I don't know. I didn't see the fillets. T-bones look fucking crazy good.
Do they?
Yeah.
You were just slagging T-bones last episode, so.
No, I was slagging the fact that I don't normally order them in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they just fuck them up. And
I don't trust anybody.
I don't know how thick they're going to be. It's just trust issues, yeah. I'm into a good sirloin.
Yeah. And what do they want? What do they want from you? They want you to
just videoing it, cutting.
Tell people how good it is.
I guess so. It's not really that I just make content for them. So at the moment,
all right.
People like looking at it.
Any other good food out there? Any wings or anything? I saw someone eating wings the other day. I was like, fuck, I could go some killer wings.
I don't remember. I honestly, it's just one of those things I don't even remember what I've done. I had wings at home.
All right.
Yeah.
Look at you balling out.
I've lost 5 kilos since last week.
From what?
Just not eating out. Yeah. I've been ignoring my entire channel.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. But they're just throwbacks. I just took a week off from doing all kinds of shit. I mean, I did go to Hood Burger. I did have a greasy triple burger from Compton Burgers. But other than that, that's all I had.
I'm going to go to Hood Burger. I'm going to go today. I'm going to get into it.
You going to get the Savo?
Yeah.
After this?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. I haven't eaten today either.
Yeah, I haven't eaten much either.
Burger, coffee, Hood Burger.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, my week has been pretty, I guess, boring. Is that boring?
Nah, that's cool. You get it. I got something a little bit left field for you. I was looking up some alien shit. Do you believe in aliens?
I think you'd have to believe in aliens.
Do you believe in what they're talking?
I mean, yes, I believe in it. I believe in it.
Do you?
Yeah.
Did you believe in it before the government released all that UFO shit this year?
Yeah, but I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, so it's like, it's one of those things, like, of course they have to be somewhere.
Yeah.
But until, I don't know, I see something and go, what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah, but there's
And now you've seen it.
this weird psychosis where until the government tells us, we still are like, oh, I believe in it, but also, like, I'm just going to keep it to myself.
Yeah.
You don't bring it into the forefront of your agenda.
No. And then I found that, like where was the, I don't know, it's like they told you. I was like, fuck yeah. And then everyone was like, eh.
No one cared.
I don't give a fuck.
Wasn't that fucking nuts,
I
man?
don't give a shit.
Wasn't that nuts?
Even like, okay, so when, one of my favourite bands of all time was Blink-182.
Okay.
So when old mate was like saying aliens exist and
He's
shit,
big on it. Hey.
he got so much hate. And in the same video they had to release by the government, everyone went, oh yeah. I was like, no, they're admitting that there's UFOs and they have them and stuff.
This is one of the things that blew my mind the most is that, like, they had proper discussions and released things and told people and no one gave a fuck.
No one gave a shit.
Which is, like, unbelievably mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid and I was 18 years old, that's the only conversation we had when we got high.
Right.
We'd be like, well, what do you reckon? Like, it has to be. Like, surely. Oh, I know, like, there's microbes out there. You know, Mars didn't have water on it when I was 18 years old. Now it's like Elon Musk said a quarter of it's ice.
Okay.
And it's like, well, fucking...
Yeah.
And then the government are like... Well, not even the government, but, like, legitimate people have great proof about these little UFOs fucking flying around everywhere.
Yeah. And I saw there was 2 types. This came up on YouTube the other day. Obviously, that's where I get all my news.
Yeah.
Are
you talking about 2 types of alien?
2 types of craft. So there's like the little Tic Tac ones, but there's another one that's like more of a box or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they've both been proven to be like, you know, like acknowledged by the government that's happening.
Yeah. And they have no idea.
No.
And they've been here for ages.
Yeah.
And it's like...
And they're all over the same zones that people have been saying the same shit for years.
Yeah.
Over like, I saw one that was over like the Bermuda, I guess what used to be maybe called the Bermuda Triangle if it's not still.
Mm-hmm.
And then one over wherever it was, the west of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And then some shit about fucking Chile or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot in America and there's a heap of weird stuff in Russia.
Yeah.
But all of these, they fly into the ocean.
Right.
So there's been a lot of aircraft carrier reports that are now coming out because they could track it like 4 or 5 different ways on these fucking amazing warships, right? Infrared and radar and all this kind of shit. And they just like plow into the ocean without it affecting them at all. They just like come up out of the ocean like it's air and then go back into the ocean like it's air.
Cool. So
And-
just fuck around. I wonder if the whales have the same thing. I wonder if they're talking to each other like, you seen that UFO? And then the other whale's like, fucking bitch, shut up.
Yeah.
You fucking conspiracy theorist.
I reckon a whale would detect it because when they do their call, they do... Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Sorry.
You just
That
like...
was too early.
That was my opportunity. I've been holding on to this for so long.
And that was my sound. You replay that one.
I've got an amazing whale call. Donald Trump impression and whale calls. Who knew?
Fuck. Can't believe I busted out the Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That was weird.
You should put that online. It was quite funny.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just got into it a little bit more this week. Like I got into it at one point and then I just had to put it on the shelf because it was too much.
You mean into all the UFOs?
All the new UFO information.
Yeah, right. It is too much.
Because it's like running out of your house and being like, dude, did you hear? And people are like, on their electric scooters, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, they gave us electric scooters. What do we care about anything else?
Yeah.
You know?
Electric scooters, I know I will die on. So just for the public to know, I think my demise will be on an electric scooter.
Really?
I just look at them and go, cool, I want it. I will go. I can't not go the fastest on shit. I'm not a hoon.
Yeah.
If you gave me an electric scooter with no sound, I'm on the highway.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do them because they're gay.
I love that feeling of just being like, just fresh air.
Yeah.
80 k's an hour.
Don't you think it's a problem though, man? Like, I still ride my bike for exercise, ride to the beach and back, get a little bit of exercise in because you're sitting on a computer or whatever every day.
Yeah.
So now people just go electric scooters instead of a bike.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad enough already.
Yeah.
Like, how sentient do we have to be?
Is
it sentient?
Do not get me started
Stationary.
on the fucking... You've seen the e-bikes, obviously.
Yeah.
That just push you up the hill.
They're the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. And it's an extra 5k for that or something. You're like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how proper, like, they look... Do you know they have, like,
So
scooter
stupid.
posture on a bicycle? You know those e-bikes?
Oh, yeah, I've never thought about it.
They all have this, like, this more proper up in the air.
Prim and proper.
Fucking...
Yeah.
Just pedal, you fuck.
Yeah.
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, I
I've
want to
never
ride
thought
that
of that.
hill.
It's exactly how they ride. But maybe that's just how they're built, right? They're built just classic bike handlebar
They're
style.
built with a pole up your butthole.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also the people that buy them, surely.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But I think also you buy one and then all of a sudden you get a little higher.
Like you're on an escalator.
And also you don't have to do anything anymore. Like, I'm riding my bike like this. That's my posture because I'm trying to get shit done.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's just that.
No, it's definitely the economy of you pushing your feet and stuff.
Yeah.
It's the line. Yeah, you're right.
Like, we're at a point where, like, we should be doing more externally.
It's how old people sit on those electric hydros up the stairs.
I thought you were going to talk about their scooters as well.
It's side saddle on a horse. It's like they go.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not laughing at the fact that you can't walk upstairs.
You just can't look classy doing
but
that.
you are at that point you are an e-scooter.
Yeah.
You are a sentient being.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
a UFO.
Dude, definitely rough if I get to 80 years old and I have to sit on one of those as people walk,
I know.
you know. Sometimes...
I'm tripping them. I'm just...
Oh, yeah, I'm getting angry.
Dude, you can't fight someone on a electric... Like
No.
yeah.
They can do whatever they want. They
I'm
can say,
starting them and going, I'm very sorry.
we got a handicapped guy on our street who's in one of those little scooter things and he's clearly fucked.
Yeah.
He goes around yelling at people sometimes.
Yep.
And we just let him do it.
Yeah, of course. It's free reign.
Fuck, what are we going to do?
I know.
Dude, he gets a free toilet and he can yell at whoever he wants.
What do you want?
What's he complaining about?
So much what you want in life.
Do you use handicapped toilets?
I guess I do. I used one at Bunnings a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 3 toilets. 2 of them were locked.
Yeah.
Pissed.
I think that should be the rule. Is like, if everything else is unavailable, I can use it.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess so.
And even if you knock on it, like I've been caught in this situation where I've come out and a handicapped person needed the toilet and
Right.
I'd been using it.
Yeah. I've
But
never been in that position.
But I was in there for a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah. And I think I said sorry, as you would.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. But then I was like, why? Why am I sorry for going to the toilet?
Yeah.
You know, who can wait? Someone already sitting down. Just relax.
I definitely know that some... I definitely know some stats on that some of them can't wait. But...
yeah, I do feel sorry.
yeah, you're
I'm getting
right.
too aggressive.
I'm not trying to shame you, but because I've done the same, except that I've never met someone on the outside as I was exiting.
You can tell I've had 2 coffees today.
Yeah,
It's getting right into
cold
it.
brew. as well.
Yeah. Is there any more of these? Or just 2?
No, there's more.
I'll have one. I can't believe I got into it already.
What?
I usually try and pace myself.
Yeah, there's no water though this week.
Nah, fuck it.
Yeah. We've been smashing this with the brews, but I think we had 6 waters for the first 7 episodes. So, yeah, that's fine.
No one's touched the sugar drinks, dude.
They're all out of code anyway. Just for show.
It doesn't
to
mean
show
anything.
nobody.
You know what I mean? You could send one of those solos to Mars. It'll be there forever.
100%. We pulled one of those Sunkist out though, and it was very pale. Like it was very pale.
Do you know actually what got me onto this alien stuff? I'm also reading Elon Musk's autobiography at the moment.
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, it just came out.
All right.
Yeah, very interesting. Have you heard anything about the dude?
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he makes a lot of sense.
I kind of ignored him in the last year, but before then it was cool. And I knew about him when he around the PayPal time and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew who he was and sort of vaguely followed him because we're that age, you know.
Do you know what he sounds like? And this isn't to bring it back, but he sounds like a chef.
Yeah. I know.
A legit. Like he's firing people constantly.
Do you know what I liked as well is I watched and I've rewatched that first Joe Rogan and Elon episode from ages ago, and it was all Elon and no Joe Rogan, which is fucking perfect. He was making all the sense. He was like, and you know, I'm like, why are you on a podcast? You're making too much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's...
he was speaking.
Like, he got a lot of hate for the Twitter thing, right?
Okay.
And then the media turned against him and now he's a horrible person and all of this stuff.
Okay.
But he bought the company and then found out that the government and the CIA and FBI had been manipulating everything for the longest time.
Yeah,
so he was even right about that.
Yeah, but also even on a micro scale, we know, even just on a micro scale about the internet, that the loudest people are the minority. So like, I don't care. So like if I think he's okay, that's what I think.
Yeah.
If 10 other people tell me very loudly online that he's a piece of shit, I still think he's okay. You know, like the other 1,000 people that...
He just reminded me...
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Because he went and fired 50% of the staff, right?
I remember the sort of... Not the takeover. He just bought it, right? And they just...
He bought it for an exceptional, exorbitant amount more than it should have been.
Or something like that.
But it was always worth that. But he just had to buy it. Because he was like, this is bullshit. And I respect him for that. Who puts up $40 billion for their moral judgments? I
think it was always... not even knowing what and when and how and who was posting and stuff. I used to always go on it every morning just to see the outrage. But it was a propaganda machine for certain people.
The left.
Yeah. So, but I also used to laugh at it. That's what I found funny. It wasn't like I was laughing at what they were saying or agreeing that we should hate whoever they were saying we should hate. It was just like I'd spend like 15 minutes going... But I thought that was, it's not like in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
It's just like, fucking, are you fucking, who are these people saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That blows my mind as well because like I read Reddit. Reddit is renowned as being the most horrible place on the internet.
Yeah.
But anytime I read something I don't like, I'm like,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, it's not getting into my brain where I'm like, whoa, this is affecting my own opinions.
Who's making you respond to that? Nobody.
Yeah. Like I love the cesspool. Yeah. I want to read all the cesspool comments. I want to know what people think.
100%.
Or not even what you think. I just want to know what you'll type out on the internet. That's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he went into Twitter and he fired half the staff, and it just so reminded me of getting a new head chef role where the owners are like, we have to shake this place up. And you're like, I know exactly what you want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Pay me the money, and then you come in, you fucking can the menu.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look at all the stuff, you just start canning people.
Yeah. Or not even, just like not being nice to the casuals and they'll just leave anyway. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, phase some people out.
Yeah.
I used to get that energy a lot. I used to come in and just be like, well, what do you do? What do you do? And they're like, oh, you know? And there's those dumb people that are like still trying to like, they're whinging at you on day one. They're still shuffling their feet around the kitchen. They're not putting in top effort for the new chef.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, that's
So-
easy.
So my first head chef, who I still chat to, even though I chatted to him yesterday, he's loving the podcast.
Nice.
But he could probably, I'd love his input as well, because on my side, as a first year apprentice, he started a week before I started my apprenticeship. So I started in a transition exactly like that, but I didn't know it. And he would walk around with his black book, and everyone's talking about his black book, and I was like, oh shit, he's got a black book. What does that mean? He's like, he's writing down things wrong with the place. So I'd love to know if that was a real thing, or if that was him just fucking walking around.
Good mind fuck.
Yeah, but dude, it worked. Holy shit. Even if he was writing in it and never used it,
Yeah.
it's perfect, because he honestly had a book.
Dude, if you walk around
But it
with a
could have
black
been-
book,
I honestly think it was just a book.
Just his book.
It's just a book.
but if
like
someone
everyone else
walks,
has.
if the new head chef walks in with a black book, everyone's posture turns into those scooters
You
again.
just go.
Just, oh.
You don't have to say anything, just fucking,
And you're like, all of a sudden you're cutting like this,
yeah.
like you're on an e-bike.
But it was like, I don't know if he knew that. I would love
Oh,
to know if he started it, because that would be fucking perfect.
I would say strategic. That's
Yeah.
something that you're trying to scare people.
But also that is something down the line that I used,
yes.
that I would just use. It was so passive aggressive.
Yes.
It was just like,
It's perfect.
you don't even say shit. Just write in your book.
Yeah. He fucking fired the shit out of those people.
Just write it on your list.
I liked it.
You're like, fuck, did he write something down then?
Yeah, yeah. And he's all about like,
It had to be black. I
Elon-
didn't think the book was black, to be honest.
he has some of these rules where he's got like 5 rules or something. I can't remember them all at the moment, but it's almost
this
like,
Elon?
yeah,
Yep.
it's almost like don't have friends at work, because then, you won't tell them exactly what you need to tell them,
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a hospitality thing,
Yeah.
bro. Like people are friends, but there is at least, like that's office work they're talking about, but we're like,
Through the door, it's
tell you
on.
direct, I've fired my friends.
100%.
Sorry, brother, you're out.
Between the doors of the kitchen, it's just your workers. You can obviously you get along fine, to a point.
To a point.
But that is right. You have to do the job.
Yeah.
If you just go,
Efficiency.
oh no, that's okay. That's when there's only a few times I've seen it where there'll be relationships in the kitchen, is where that sort of breaks it up. Is where like a head chef or a sous chef will get into one of the female staff or in the kitchen.
Yeah.
I've very rarely seen it, but I've seen it twice.
You mean hook up with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it fucked everything up,
Totally.
because that was, and it doesn't even need to be a male female thing, but they're clearly favorite. That's their favorite.
Well, the power's gone now.
Yeah, but that's their favorite, and everyone can see it. And then they're like, "Fuck you! You're gone now. You're dead to me. You used to be okay. You used to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, right? It's so black and white in the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah. You have
And then
to.
it becomes black and white except for this chick, or the reverse, except for this
Yeah.
dude if it's a female head chef.
And as a head chef, if you see a chink in the armor, like if you're looking at your head chef and he is compromising on something,
Yeah.
which is like
And you
a
go, "All right,
relationship.
she didn't wash the lettuce today. No dramas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if they fuck up, like, if there's sand in the lettuce and you know that she's done it and he doesn't
Yep.
get her for it,
100%.
you're like, oh.
You're never going to wash it again.
Whereas I always appreciated those guys. I knew a few dudes that worked with their girlfriends in kitchens,
Yeah.
and they would bollock them.
Yeah.
And I was like, whew.
But that's what I mean, is I've only seen it a few times where it has affected it, because I've seen it more, but there was only a couple of times where I was like, oh, this is the whole brigade's fucked now.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. But then you'll see the ones you can maybe work through it and go, well, I'm always going to try and do the best I can and I'll do the right thing. But you can see the others just go, oh,
Yeah.
all right.
No, you can't
And then
break
they
those
argue
rules.
about the roster. It's fucking like, oh, why has she got Thursday off? Even though she has Thursday off for the last 6 weeks, why has she got it off this week?
Yeah.
Oh, remember when I asked you? She's got, I wonder why.
So you know what we've got to do? We've got to bang her in secret.
Yeah.
Can't let anyone know.
Yeah.
Don't come up to me.
Send everyone home first.
Yeah, and it's also like way more attractive that you guys are banging and no one else knows.
Yeah.
Keep it out of there,
Yeah.
you know?
It's, yeah.
Or a waitress.
My wife. My
Bangs
wife
hard.
was my girlfriend. Oh. Absolutely. My wife was my. I don't even know how to say this. She was my. How do we say this in reverse? She was.
I married my girlfriend.
Yes, but she was my girlfriend when she was at front of house when I was back of house. So, and we never told anyone, and it was for that reason.
Yeah. So how did that hookup happen?
So I was very naive about the whole thing, and then her mum asked somebody to ask me to her 21st birthday, and I was like, "Why are you asking me?" And then like a big wave came over me, like, "Oh, okay."
She didn't invite anyone else from the kitchen to her 21st birthday?
Oh, there was a couple of people, but it was like
front of house staff.
But it was like a surprise birthday, and I wasn't really. Yeah, but I never hung around her or anything. So it was like, why are you even inviting me? I don't really know her.
That aggressive chef energy, so good.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool. But we kept that a secret forever.
Did ya?
Yeah.
Was that super hot? Was it great?
It was way better.
Yeah.
It was way better. People...
and she'd come up to the pass and stuff, and you take the ticket, but in your brain you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to get it.
She'd get the extra... The accidental extra lamb chop.
Did you give her extra food?
100%. I always give everyone every food anyway.
But her extra.
She'd always,
Yeah, without a doubt, like as a young apprentice, young chef, giving the hot girls, or the girls that you're interested in, extra stuff.
Yeah.
Best day of your life. It was just fun to do.
Yeah.
You know? We had, at the Brown Cow, there was one prep station, like it's a corridor, right? Far end, pass, then all the cooking stuff. Behind my back is a sandwich toaster.
Yeah.
With a conveyor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am on a tiny little bench next to the deep fryers on one side and a wall just here. Just fits a chopping board, nothing else.
Yeah.
People would run to get that section for their prep because in front of you is a fucking waiter's window and a tiny little room on the other side where all the girls come in and scrape the plates and put the plates up in a shelf on their side.
Right.
And you just sit there prep all day and like chicks are coming in the whole time, right? And you got like a deep fryer here with like a little bowl.
Yeah.
And you're just like smashing a few things, like get it through there.
Yeah, I used to always have that little, just, do you want some of that? Do you want a bit
And they would love it. They would be like over the moon. And be like, oh, girls, how about this, you know?
I had one front of house say to me when I was an apprentice, I was like, everyone loves you. I was like, I vividly remember it because the first time someone said they didn't like me as well. And I wasn't trying to be liked. It was just like, you just survive, right? Maybe the least assholey asshole, right?
Yeah.
And she said, everyone loves you, I don't get it. And I was like, oh. But I hadn't given her any food. Like, it was like and
she didn't get it yet.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I was picking who to give it to. It was just like...
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
She wasn't your type, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but also the boys weren't my type either. But they would still get...
Oh, I'd bro down with the dudes.
Yeah.
Front of house dudes.
But I just suddenly remembered that it was like an off shift.
Yeah.
Like it was like a changeover or something like that.
Yeah.
That I'd never see her. And I'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
But I remember... the reason I remember because it just blew me away. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking to be liked, but like for someone to actually come up and say, everyone likes you, I hate you. You're like, what? You're like, what? I was like, yeah, but I hate me too.
Yeah.
I'm surprised too.
She just sounds like one of those negative hospo workers, to be honest.
Yeah, and I know exactly what she looked like. She had
Ugly.
She had the box haircut. She was an attractive lady, but she had like the box haircut.
Negative on the inside.
Oh, dude, ugly on the inside.
Yeah.
And a foul mouth.
I was always broing with the dudes front of house. Like a lot I wouldn't get along with because they can be a very different type of person.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking gay or anything. They're more like outgoing than chefs. We're very insular inside.
Yeah, it's opposites.
Yeah,
it's
but
just,
you're opposite kinds of people.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
But there would always be a couple of bartenders maybe.
They're not doing it for a profession, and you are, and that's why you give a shit. And they're like, I'm only here for 4 hours, dude. Yeah.
A lot of the time.
And then I'm going to footy, Then
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking whatever.
Yeah. I'm doing a college arts degree. I'll never come back here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of shit.
Yeah.
But I always find a few because I would swap out real good food for coffee. Absolutely.
I'd get
all day.
Yeah, I was never really a big coffee guy, but I would always take it and bin it just because I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
So even if I don't drink it, it's always think, oh my God, thank you very much.
Never say no to anything, basically,
No.
do you?
100%. And then, that's like a trade thing because when you want something, you're not going to go, but when you want a coffee,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you going to do? Or can I please have a coffee? You want it to keep coming for the one day that you do want it. Or I used to get little nips of scotch.
Oh,
from
yeah?
This one guy, a few of them.
Fuck, what a legend.
Yeah, but if you poured the top, every now and then, you get some fucking roller that wants the top one to impress someone, and he'd go, and then we'd share it. Just things like that.
That's
you
wicked.
obviously charge the guy.
Do you know the worst relationship in a kitchen?
What?
A chef, like a sous chef or a head chef, and a front of house manager hooking up at work in some capacity,
So gross.
and then working together and thinking that they own everything.
Yeah, and they both switch off from their jobs, their actual jobs.
Well, they've lost the edge somehow.
Yeah.
Of like what there's almost needs to be some kind of like edge against that front of house manager
Yeah.
to keep the brigade and everybody pumping,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But now they're kind of on the same team, or I never liked it. I was like, this is crap.
Yeah. It's like if the front of house brought up an issue with the back of house,
Yeah.
you're obviously going to side. It's just
You're supposed to be on
It
our
doesn't
team.
work. It doesn't work.
You're on our team, dude. So if a front of house manager who's in a relationship with, if they were in a relationship and bought the place, it's kind of different.
Yeah.
But if they hooked up while they were there, and now she can complain more, or he can complain more if it's a female chef, whatever.
Yeah.
The front of house person can complain more, ask for more things,
Yeah, but even if they
push a bit further, and then he's like more compliant.
Yeah, but even if they don't, that's how it's seen. That's how I would see it.
That's
But,
exactly what you're talking
Because she
about.
asked you to do it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Tim, can you redo that salad? It's been sitting there a while. It's like, are you?
And you're like, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yes, chef. You're like, yeah.
Oh, definitely yes, chef.
Yeah.
Definitely
You're
yes,
like,
chef.
there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
Show
yeah.
this one.
I'm not back chatting. I'm going to back
Ask your
chat
girlfriend to check this salad out. Does she want to check it before I put on the pass? I'm already living it.
Yeah, and she's now a front of house manager that knows more about food than you do.
Yeah, or you ring the bell and go, would you like to check my salad, chef? And you call her chef.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I've already been there.
Yeah. Half cut on fucking top shelf whiskey.
Yeah.
Just getting after it.
Yeah. Yeah. But also that breeds, because I can very easily use that to fuck her stuff up too.
Mm-hmm.
And be like, she sent that fucking, do you want this salad she sent back? Nothing wrong with it, eh?
Mm.
And then they edit, go, fuck, it's perfect. You're like, I know, she sent it back. It's because of her boyfriend.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And
now
then
he's lost. That's what we're talking about. Now he's lost you.
Now I've got a whole bottle of whiskey.
Now he's lost you and it's over.
Yeah.
Well, we got a comment this week from some cool dude who was saying, love the podcast, but are you guys holding back
Oh, yeah.
some
On
of the
YouTube,
stories, you guys have kind of been, and he's probably right a little bit.
I think he was asking if we were censoring it a bit, like not holding back a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I like it.
I get it.
Well, it's hard because we're only just sort of starting podcasting, so you don't really know.
Yeah.
So I thought, fuck yeah, bro, you're right. Let's tell our worst hospo story.
Yeah. I don't know mine though.
You don't know the worst?
They're all fucking bad.
Yeah?
Like I don't know. I can tell a bad one about. There's a real bad one about someone else.
That's good enough.
All right. I just can't remember.
All right. Well, because I've dodged
on.
this one
All right.
2 or 3 times.
All right.
I've dodged around it.
And previous viewers of this podcast know that we remember shit that we've forgotten. So old.
Dude,
It's like,
you know when
as soon as you start talking, I'll be like, oh, yeah, remember when I murdered that hooker? Yeah.
on this podcast, on record, I remembered that I rode off a car into a tree.
I know. It's because I said I changed the tyre.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, I remember that right off that. Yeah.
And like for weeks now, every time I talk to a mate, I'm like, do you know that I forgot that I rode a car off into a tree?
I know. On the spot, it's really hard.
Yeah.
That's just what I like about it.
And I think we both have that same brain. Like, if I open a recipe book, I can come up with 15 ideas about a menu.
Yeah.
But if you sit here and ask me, what do you like with duck? I'm like, red cabbage, star anise.
Yeah, exactly.
I need like a...
Like, apple.
Yeah. So the worst story that I've got, and I hope that I can outdo it by the end of this podcast, whenever it does end in 15 years.
Yeah.
But in England, I was at that little best gastro pub 2020 or whatever.
In the world.
No,
Ever.
2012 probably.
Just 1 year. Yeah.
And it was me and the head chef and a Slovakian apprentice, and I lived there. I've talked about it a little bit. I lived upstairs at this little thatched
Slovakian.
and it was like in Wiltshire.
Sorry, yes. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Not another Slovakian, not the guy the sniper that tried to get me at Watergate Bay, which I swore I'd never talk about again. But I'm living upstairs. There's a few hot waitresses. There's female managers.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like chipping away at two of those.
Mm-hmm.
They would come up every now and then into my room,
Yep.
bring me alcohol. And this is the place where they wouldn't give me staff meals while I worked 15-hour days. I could eat at work, but on my days off, I had to come and buy the food.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, and then I would cook it when everyone left at night time.
Right.
So I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder about that. But I was pumping. I was working super hard, me and this young head chef, and like creating real top level, the best gastro shit that you could come across.
Mm-hmm.
And I must have been there about 8 months or something, just doing that, drinking on my days off, working real hard, not doing anything else, super obsessed with food, pretty obsessed with kitchens, and I had a Gordon Ramsay mentality. Like some of the locals were trying to bang the managers and stuff because it's a small, tiny, small town, right? And they'd come into the kitchen and talk to them, and I'd yell at them, "Get the fuck out of my kitchen!" Like it was the wrong attitude to have for a small, tiny little thatch pub.
Yeah.
These are super rich dudes with Land Rovers and tweed jackets and shotguns over their shoulders. Some of them would shoot pheasants and bring them in, and I'd pluck them, and
Okay.
it was wicked.
Yeah.
And it was all English food, like roast on Sunday, the best roast I've ever done in my life. We'd get full sirloins, marinate them, roast the sirloin, and then cut it medium rare.
Mm-hmm.
Yorkshire puds, all kinds of cool shit. Chicken liver parfait. And I'd been there about 8 months, and I'd worked my fucking ass off to get them these awards and also like build myself up. And it was New Year's Eve. And I was a bit of a drinker. It was after Newquay, so I was in party mode still. Yeah. Single though. And New Year's Eve, I had to work New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And I cooked New Year's Eve, and I think I started drinking there or whatever. And they gave us New Year's night off, and there was a big party in the pub for New Year's night.
Yeah.
And there was a wedding. This is all it's going to. There was a wedding happening and a party. It's so hard, man, you know?
I've just remembered something. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so hard. So I might have knocked off at about 10 o'clock or something.
Yeah.
And I was just pumped. I was like, I'm gonna bring in the new year. That's fucking cool. And I went out the front. I had been drinking because I was pretty drunk.
Is your service finished?
Service is finished, but I probably had like 3 strong whiskeys.
Yep.
Or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a good mood. And I just remember coming out into the pub, and there's like a lot of partying, and it's pretty packed in those small roofs and stuff.
Yep.
And I got given a bottle of champagne for a present from the bosses.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about all that.
So
yeah.
I don't know what time this happened, But all I remember is being pretty drunk and then just being like, the best idea right now on this sort of like dance floor busy place is to take my champagne bottle from the kitchen, unwrap it and spray it over everyone in the crowd.
Yeah.
It's New Year's, baby. Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
So I did that. I popped it. I don't even know. It was probably a real good bottle. Like I was an idiot.
Feels better if it's a better bottle.
And I sprayed it all over the crowd, and I remember being damn well drunk.
Yeah.
And a guy took exception to that.
Right.
And he pushed me into the kitchen, and he pushed me up against the back door, and he headbutted me in the face.
Fuck yeah.
And I was drunk enough that I was like, oh, sweet, this is awesome. This is how it goes down.
Yeah.
And people pulled him off me, and it was a little bit of a struggle and stuff. And the owners come in, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Dude, this guy just headbutted me. Obviously, like, get him the fuck out of here."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, good job.
I'm the victim. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the chef.
Yeah.
And they didn't kick him out. Though he was like the brother of the bride or something,
Right.
and they might have paid big money to be there.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, hey, hold on. I work here a lot." All the time.
Yeah.
This dude just headbutted me.
Yeah.
Get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And the owner was like, nah.
They will always side with it.
We're not going to do that. And I was like...
I mean, it was your fault, but
yeah.
They will always side with.
Yeah, but I was drunk.
Okay.
So I was like, well, you beauty, I will fix this myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to go break a chair, grab 2 chair legs. I don't know why I decided 2 chair legs.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking have it out with this dude. Mono.
Yeah.
So I like stomp upstairs, I grab a chair, I try to break it or something, and I'm trying to get myself 2 chair legs to beat this guy up.
To remove him or just beat him up.
Beat him up.
Yeah, just to
have it out with him.
Yeah.
Mono.
All right.
And it was so funny because I was drinking whiskey because when he headbutted me, I was like, oh, you beauty. It's time to go.
It's on. Yeah.
Like now I get a great excuse to
switch is on, right?
Which is, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
So I come down the stairs from my room with 2 chair legs, and I'm just like, fuck, where is he? Let's do this. Let's have it out. And then people just converge on me. Like, hey, oh, wait, hold on. This isn't good. This isn't going to go well. You're supposed to work here. And I was drunk. I did not care.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, it has to happen like this. There's no way it's not going to happen like this.
Yeah.
And then the owners get involved, and all I remember now is being on one side of the bar, and they're in the bar, small, tiny bar, everyone partying around us.
Yeah.
And they're like, you have to stop or something, and I was like, that's it. And this fucking switch flipped in my head, and I was like, everybody's enemy number 1. And I just like started yelling at the boss some pretty horrible shit.
Yeah.
You're a fucking homo. I hate you. They were 2 gay guys.
Okay.
Fuck you. I work here.
You're just trying to get all the...
I was done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
throw darts.
It's meltdown.
Yeah.
It's meltdown time.
Yeah.
Brown liquor meltdown time. And I just fucking gave it to him. Gave it to everyone. I was like the worst version of myself that I could be.
Yeah.
It doesn't finish yet.
Okay. I already have 3 stories. Go ahead.
So
I never pad of paper so I can write it down because
that'd be good.
What? No, only because it would be hilarious what I would write down while you're talking.
Yeah,
because keep going.
That'd be fun.
Yeah,
you should do that.
Yeah.
So I remember yelling at this dude and then blank, absolute blank, nothing. I've never been able to remember it, and it took me a long time to remember this much.
That was your last memory.
Yeah,
right at that. All right.
Flip switch. I just remember my internal dialogue, like everyone's getting it now.
Yeah.
And the next memory I have is having a milk crate full of empty bottles out the front of this beautiful thatched pub, and I'm just pegging them. I'm throwing these bottles at the pub while everyone's in there.
Yeah.
And partying and stuff.
Yeah.
And I am just pegging these fucking things like, fuck this place, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck this. And then I have a massive blank.
Yeah.
And then they had the Thatched pub here, high class, high quality.
Yeah.
In this tiny little town in Wiltshire. And then across the road, they had a super high class, maybe 12-bedroom hotel.
Yeah.
Top of the line, real good. restaurant in there, but only for the guests. Like, you can't go there. High quality.
Yeah.
Big hedges, really nice grass. And I just have a big blank from throwing bottles at this pub to me storming around the restaurant in the middle of the night, trying to find a way in to like break things, kill somebody. I have no idea. And then a massive blank. And then I woke up in my bed in the morning and I was like, oh, oof, I don't feel very good. And I like roll over and I look up and my head chef is sitting at my shoulder in the windowsill while I'm like just waking up, rolling over. And I look up and I can't remember anything. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I look up and I'm like, what's going on? And the look on his face was like, what have you done?
Yeah.
Like, you've fucked everything.
Yeah.
What? We just won all this. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, what's going on? He's like, mate, like,
Yeah.
what
There's so much to say, hey.
the fuck have you done?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And he's like, you're 2 hours late for work.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be in at 8. It's 10 o'clock. I let you sleep till 10. And now we have to go have a meeting with the owners because you... And then when he said that, I was like, like it started.
Yeah.
I had a couple of pictures. I had a picture of me yelling.
Yeah.
I didn't remember the headbutt for a while. Picture of me throwing bottles.
Yeah.
You get the feeling that something went down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fucking all right, whatever. And he was shattered.
Yeah.
He was like... Because the story that he would have heard would have like...
I would be too.
Tim's gone AWOL.
Even half that story would be like, fuck.
So then...
Wrecked.
I am unbelievably hungover.
Yeah.
And this came up when we were talking about hangover stories. This is the most hungover I was.
Yeah.
I'm unbelievably hungover, and we had to go straight into a meeting downstairs with the two owners that I'd called a lot of really bad slurs
Yeah.
to their face,
Yeah.
which is not a good move. And I was still drunk as fuck. I was like, went downstairs. I still had a chip on my shoulder. I think I remembered at some stage that I was in the right somehow.
Yeah.
Right? I still had the attitude.
Dude, it's worth a shot, eh?
Like, what? Maybe I'm in protective mode now. You know what I
You
mean?
invited me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The you invited me mode.
Yeah.
And I just walk stinking drunk into this goddamn meeting. And I sit down and I'm like, righto, let's have it. And they're like, okay, look, we're willing to look this over
Yeah.
and move forward. If you would, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
like, we really don't want to.
Yeah, but you've never been in an office at that point. So you don't realise that they've been sitting there for hours figuring out, he will say this, we will say this, it'll be very... And, you've just gone, fuck off.
Yeah, totally had.
They've gone, there was no plan B.
Yeah, they've also sat there and gone, look, this guy's really fucked us over, but he was really good at his job, and you guys crushed it.
Yeah,
and like we can keep him as a business decision, but probably hate him for the rest of our lives.
Yeah,
and then they compromised with me in the room, like, oh, we can figure this out, and I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. And they were like, oh, well, all right.
Yeah.
And it was like a stalemate.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there just like, I don't care if I leave, I'm going to go do something else. What do I give a shit?
Yeah.
And also I was pretty pissed that...
Yeah, but that's that attitude is like, it is just you can get this job somewhere else anytime you want.
But it was a killer job, and I was incredibly rude to like
no doubt
not apologize.
Yeah, but that's the attitude.
Yeah, I was in pirate mode.
Yeah,
not apologize. I didn't remember a lot of this at the time either, so I thought that like something had happened to me, and like, you know, there must be a reason for it.
Oh, righto. I will switch into that mode when I'm really, really, really overtired or hungover, where I just fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't care. Say what you want, but it's never going to be like a.
It's not
you
rational.
You might know I'm sorry, but I'm never gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm not releasing anything.
especially when I was 23.
But I think it's like a protection for yourself as well. You go into that mode of like, I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't have any of my faculties.
Yeah.
So let's fucking just get through it and go, no. Go full.
Definitely protection mode, but then also like it's your default setting. Your default setting isn't apology.
Exactly.
Your default setting isn't like, let's work this out. Your default setting at all times at 23 years old as a chef is like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said that to them, and they were like, well, all right, you mean you've got to go work a full 12-hour day, so maybe do that and we'll figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could do. I couldn't work. And I went and put on my chef whites, and I came downstairs, and I didn't talk to anyone for 12 hours, and I just pumped work.
Yeah.
As hard as I could. Pump.
But that's but that's what you do. That's what I would do too.
That's all I can do.
It's just like,
and it wasn't to like not talk to my chef. I was like you were talking about when you were super hungover.
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything except hammer work. And if you're that hungover or that drunk, which I was still drunk, is you need to hammer twice as hard to get through.
yeah. And everyone's going to be a jerk. If you say something, they're going to be a double jerk.
Yeah.
So just shut up.
I just shut the fuck up.
And everyone knows that you'll just shut up and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and this is from I worked with my head chef who had sat there probably for half an hour looking at me while I was passed out in my bed.
Yeah.
Just like, what am I going to do with this guy?
Yeah.
And
that was pretty safe for him. Was the only safe zone he had?
Yeah.
Everyone else is going to give him shit unless he sits up there, right?
I don't know. Yeah. I'd love to hear his side of that story one
Me
day.
too.
We can get him, we can phone call the guy in.
Yeah,
and he was a great chef. He was a young guy and he was really good.
Yeah.
And I get to the end of the shift and I'm still in I don't give a fuck mode whether I stay or go. Who dat? Dad's home.
Must be.
Very cool.
Yes, it's okay. I just wanted to yeah.
And he came up to me at the end of the shift as I was like cleaning down.
Yeah.
And he shook my hand and he was like, I've never seen anyone work like that under the conditions that you were under.
Yeah.
And I was like, right.
Yeah.
Thanks. And that was the end of the day.
Yeah.
And nothing ever got resolved. I might have left 6-8 weeks later on my own accord. I was like, I gotta leave.
Yeah.
One, I can't look these people in the face.
Yeah.
That's a pretty horrible thing to do. And it's just up. Time's up. Got to go.
Yeah.
That's it. Off into the distance.
Yeah. But that's how my hungover thing went too. We just like shut the fuck up. Like I wasn't in that kind of trouble, but like physically I was.
Yeah.
And then that's what it was. It was like cheers.
Yeah.
That's insane. And then the next day was the same shit all over again.
Yeah.
Like it never happened. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I hope that guy appreciates a real story. In the comments.
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I guess so. We're gonna focus on that. Yeah.
Yeah. But then also I look back sometimes and I think like a drunk dude just like in chaos mode, just with a crate of empty bottles, just pegging it at the front of a beautiful thatched pub.
Yeah.
With a wedding inside.
Yeah.
And you look out from the wedding like, is that dude still out there? And he's like, bah! I think that's funny.
Yeah, it's
On
hilarious.
some level.
Yeah.
Like he's still out there. Like imagine headbutting a dude and then like he just goes into chaos mode and just like whips the whole place up.
Yeah, just flick the on switch.
Yeah.
Off you go.
I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Oh shit. Meanwhile, he's probably still inside having a good time.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know if he was having a good time because he didn't enjoy someone spraying champagne at New Year's, which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah, but also there's just different people, right? Like if you sprayed me with champagne, I'd be like, fuck, dude. But I wouldn't start headbutting you.
Yeah.
I probably would pull your leg or something if you're standing on something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's your fault for standing up there, cunt.
I thought that everyone was going to be like, yeah.
But maybe they did as well, except for this one guy. Maybe you just shot him in the...
I mean, if you're getting married, what a win.
Yeah.
And the fact that I tried to go get 2 chair legs, I have that memory clear as day. I was like, I need
Fuck this guy up so
I need
hard.
2 chair legs. Chair legs are horrible weapons.
Yeah.
But I need 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them. We got 2 arms. I suppose it makes sense.
To accommodate this fella.
It's already wrecked you and your employment.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was some crazy stuff that went down. There's so much crazy stuff that went down at that place. Like if you don't have any pending stories as such.
Go ahead.
I'll
see someone to write it. That's all.
So I was banging one of the waitresses, and they were 2 best friends, and they were like, and my window door upstairs used to open, and I always had it open, I had it open for some reason, and those girls were closing the pub one night, and they were out the front of the pub having a cigarette, and I heard them go like, so which one of us is gonna pick up Tim?
Okay.
And I was like, what the?
Yeah.
Like, this is a perfect setup.
Yeah.
What's going on? And they're like, I don't really care. Yeah, I don't really care. And I was like, all right, we'll see what happens. And I was like, bang on. But I was already kind of sneakily chipping one away on the front of house manager. Different to the 2 waitresses as well. So I was having a really great time. And then on the last day before I left that job, I was leaving with my suitcases on a bus the next day. There was a couple of drinks from a few people to say, like, thanks, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, thanks for not burning it down.
Yeah.
Your time here was good.
Thanks for not throwing the 40th beer bottle at the place.
Yeah, and I was, I remember going up to the manager who had found out by that stage that I was kind of like seeing the waitress at the same time as well. And I just remember going up to her and being like, look, it's the last night, like, shall we just do this thing right? One more time.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, we should. And then I was like, sweet. And, this is going to dissipate at some point and we're going to mosey on upstairs. That's real good. And I walked out of the bar and around the front and she fainted. She blacked out.
We just what?
She fell over and blacked out.
As she was walking?
After our conversation.
Was she standing still and just went over?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And I was like, uh-oh. And then someone was like, oh, it's okay. This just happens sometimes. Okay. Sometimes she blacks out when, like, she gets overwhelmed.
When hot men ask her. Yeah.
And I was like, and I was the only one that knew my side of the story. So I was like, oh, shit.
Shouldn't have put that. This is where I get, like my humour is like, shit, I probably shouldn't have put that in her drink. But the person walking up thinks, oh, you're a rapist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
or that it's real or true or...
Yeah. But that's my humour.
But,
that would be my... That is my humour, but now I have a filter because now I've got a wife and kid, right? And I've definitely got a daughter old enough to not... I do not want that to happen to.
Yes.
But at 23, same age as you or whatever it was, that was my humour, die on a hill humour.
Yeah.
And they'd go, what do you mean? I'm like, isn't that her drink? You know, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, then you're going to...
I would do it till the police came.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're going to appreciate the end of this story then.
I'm here for it.
I also have a filter now and I also have moved on from a lot of this stuff.
No way.
But
I've seen you throw bottles.
But it was definitely... That was who I was at that point. And so she's blacked out and I'm the only one that's known our conversation.
Yeah.
Which was a polite conversation.
Of course, yeah.
And they were like, oh, shit, we need to call an ambulance.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay. And so they called an ambulance and the ambulance came and got her and we met them at the hospital, which would have been a town and a half over.
Yeah.
So, and as soon as I got to I don't know why anyone took me to the hospital, which is a bad idea. But as soon as I got there and we went into her room, I was like, well, this is a great place to have a lot of fun. I was like, "Whoa, look at this fucking dingamadoo."
The hospital room.
Yeah. And I'm like, "Whoa." I'm like, trying to air fuck something.
I've been there in a hospital room because it's very fun. It's all new.
I'm like air fucking things. I'm like being a complete jerk.
People
I'm
clean
like,
up after you.
yeah, I'm like, it's my last day before I leave and never see any of these people ever again, which I thoroughly enjoyed when I was traveling.
Yeah.
I'm starting fresh tomorrow. I'm excited. I just remember just being a complete jerk in the room, and the nurse came in and she was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah.
And this is how much of a jerk I was. I was still trying to get this girl back to my pub room. So the nurse was angry and something happened, and like they're like, "Oh, should we take you home?" And she's like, "Oh no, like maybe Tim will take me home, or like my car's at the pub, so I'll go there."
Yeah.
We're like still trying to sneak this thing around her blacking out and having to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And we made it happen.
Fuck yeah.
Like, "Are you sure you can drive home?" She's like, "Yeah, this happens all the time." And they dropped her off at the pub expecting to drive her car home, which I was all for.
Yes.
I was like,
that's actually the best place. Unless you got a
Like
central
what?
location or wherever this is going next. Yeah.
I think that's a really smart idea.
Yeah.
I mean, of course she can drive. She can't get her car tomorrow. And
Fucking hell.
and we hooked up.
If she passes out, there's plenty of public to
We
call
hooked
her.
up one last time.
Fuck yeah. That's funny as fuck.
But that was one of those fishing moments where you're like, I don't know if this is going to pay off.
Yeah. There's that's funny. I've definitely been in trying to hook up with a chick in a hospital. But it's a similar sort of thing. I can't remember how we even got to the hospital, but I was just hanging around the hospital because I was like, we're going to... It was no one... It was like a mutual person we knew was at the hospital. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, we're not going to hang around here all day or night, right? So I remember like accosting this fucking wheelchair, and I was going down the halls. I also had no shoes on because we came from the beach, so maybe something happened at the beach. It's just everything that flows back.
Yeah.
And then they have a problem with no shoes, and I was like, well, I arrived here in no shoes. Unless you've got shoes, I am shoeless. And then they're like, it took a while for them to realize I didn't need a wheelchair. And
What?
well, I was just flying. I was just bored. I wanted to hook up with this girl, and we were at the hospital. She was at the hospital because her friend was there. We didn't need to be there, and I was just killing time. So I'm just flying down the corridors in a wheelchair. And then it dawned on me that everyone was letting me do shit because I was in a wheelchair. And then I felt really guilty because I was like, I don't need to be in a wheelchair. They're only letting me do
Be
this
an
fun
arsehole.
shit because they think I'm a cripple.
Yes.
But I'm not. I'm just an arsehole with no shoes and wanting to hook up with. Yeah. So that's what I remember about that. But I don't remember how that ended or how that started. That's
Well, if
what
you
I
don't remember how it ended badly then, bro.
Dude, I remember getting out of the wheelchair and making sure no one saw me get up out of it. Do you know what I mean?
That's
like,
a tough move.
yeah, but I was like, fuck, if someone sees me.
That's a quick exit from a wheelchair, right?
I felt like guilty for about 10 minutes and then I don't know what happened.
I felt guilty about that story for quite a few years.
What, just hanging around because you wanted to...
That one, no, not so much. Sorry, the previous one where I just went into complete dick mode.
Yeah, me too. I would too.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. Like, dude, as soon as we finish this podcast, I remember about 4 things about me being an absolute piece of shit.
You had one about someone else, though.
Yeah, and then I'm going to get a pad of paper and write it because...
Someone else's worst day.
The ones I remembered were... Do you know who Jessica Mauboy is?
Nope.
So she used to be on... I think she's on one of the... She's a famous singer now, right? And she was on Australian Idol. I think she won Australian Idol. But anyway, we were at this... it was like the kind of like boutique hotel in Perth. And it kind of had this like... all the celebrities could come and it would be very under the radar. And in your contract, it actually said, from memory, don't say shit about this. Don't put it on. This was sort of... I can't remember the time, maybe 2012, something like that. So Facebook and Instagram was sort of all right, around.
Right.
But it was still like one of the first contracts I saw where you weren't allowed to show this on social media. And it was a trusted place where celebrities could come. So we had her and a bunch of people. So like they would do concerts at the arena or whatever it was at the time and come to the hotel. So you weren't allowed to post things about the hotel when they were there. Mm-hmm. We had this fucking kitchen hand called Raji, and he used to say yes chef instead of yes chef.
Funny.
That's what I remember about him. So
I
it was
like that.
Hilarious. Yes chef. And I still use that to this day. Yes chef.
Yeah.
We
say yes Jeff.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Because one of our commie chefs hated the head chef, the sous chef, who was the head chef of the restaurant.
Right.
While the head chef was office duties.
Yeah.
And he would just always say, yes, Jeff. And just to get it past the guy.
Yeah.
And then always smile at me. Like, fuck that dude.
Yeah.
That was his way of saying fuck you.
Yeah.
Yes, Jeff.
I get it. I would have used that.
It was funny. I used to use it. It's like someone in the future was like being rude to me. I'd be like, yes, Jeff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then just eyeball him and stare him down.
Yeah. Continue on.
So he was like such a shit cunt, but he was so nice. As in he was terrible at his job. But he had a visa to be at the hotel, which meant he was like locked in at a certain pay, I believe. So it was like cheap for him to be there. He had to be there every day so he could, whatever. His kitchen hand. So one of the things he would do, this is just one thing to show how fucking asshole he was, or dumb. He would when it was really busy, we'd put him on just the fryer, which we didn't really need. It was like there was just one side of truffle fries or something. So you'd put it down, pull it up. There's your bowl. Put it in the bowl. The fries come in.
Yeah, I'll do the truff myself. Thank you.
Pretty. This is what his job was, right? But at the time we had a bowl. The dish was, I remember this so vividly. It was a big bowl, and it was a lamb dish. So it had greens, some sort of greens, goat's cheese. Then you had this whole roasted lamb rump carved on it, and then something on top, whatever. And then it had this pure crystal lamb consomme, right? Fucking tasty as shit. And it was there, and when he was on the fryer, which was just like one thing to do, right? Mm-hmm. When it was busy, it was just like fry. When we tell you to put fries down, put fries down. When we tell you to put in the bowl, put in the bowl. And we'd put the bowl out from it and everything and go, put him in the bowl. Yeah. And he'd go, sorry, Steph? And you're like, put him in the fucking bowl. And then we go, put him in the fucking bowl, cunt. And he just put the whole fries in the lamb bowl. Like just... And I was, what the fuck? This is how dumb he was. This is the guy he was, right? So obviously that's ruined. Like you can imagine, the sort of dish it would look like. You're like, you can't touch it at all, let alone dump a whole bowl. Yep. This is the guy he was. So when Jessica Malboy came, and he was like, Jessica Malboy's in the fucking building. We had people like Lara Bingle and just like anyone who was anyone at the time would stay there anonymously, not even under their name. And you kind of know they were there, but whatever. So he was like, Jessica Malboy's here. I didn't know who she was either. I'm not at home ever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he went up to her room and started banging on the door.
What?
And apparently it wouldn't open. No, sorry.
Which is fair.
I phrased that wrong. Apparently she wouldn't open it.
Yeah.
Which is still fair. Yeah. So he kept doing it. And then he eventually got whoever his mates were, the cleaning staff or something, to try and get the door open because he wanted to party with whoever this bitch was.
Really?
Yeah. So, and he kept telling us, and we were like, well, it's never going to happen. We don't care. We're also working. But we're in the end of the shift as well. So we're like, we're just cleaning down, whatever. So,
yeah. But he's exited the kitchen and not doing his job?
Yeah, but he kept doing it.
Ah.
But also, that's the kitchen hand, right? So he's polishing the plates and taking him out or taking front of house cutlery out. So he's It's okay.
He's finding time.
So if exactly. So if he needs to leave, it's not going to be missed too much.
Yeah, and hassle somebody at their hotel room.
Yeah, but by the time we were done, also the dishes are definitely done before we're done the kitchen and stuff at this place. So he went up to her room and eventually got in and just made an absolute scene and started posting all these pictures of him and whatever her name was on.
Wait, he got in?
Social media. Yeah, because he got, as far as I remember, he got the cleaning staff to get him in, or said, or she ordered food perhaps or something. I can't remember.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he was in there just like, and he just took all these selfies and whatever with her. And then that got around the actual like media took it on because they found these. This is exactly why you don't post these pictures.
Uh-huh.
And then he couldn't get fired because he was under this visa thing. But we all had to go into this dumb meeting. And it was just like, look, so everyone is on these contracts and we're like, we don't really know what this is about. Why is this dumbass kitchen hand here with us? You know, like as well, like, what the fuck?
Totally.
This is the next day. Like, straight away the next day.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I ran out of beef last night. I need to roll this. This is all I just don't think is anything.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, so we've lost 15 contracts, which are worth about $20 million. And I'm still thinking, I don't care. You know, you're not paying me. I'll ask for a pay rise. You know, all this sort of shit. That's what I'm thinking is like, I better ask for a pay rise. And then it came down, this Raji guy had gone to his room, and then obviously people are sending that line, and management for all these, I guess, quote unquote famous people.
Yes.
Had just gone, nope, we are not staying there.
Agent management.
Even if they're booked, no, we're just going to go to the Ridges, or we're going to go
to the next one.
Hilton, or we're going to
You're
get
untrustworthy.
Exactly.
20 mil, this guy cost them. Plus.
I don't remember, but I remember sort of briefly hearing whatever this meeting was. That, yeah, someone was in trouble, but it wasn't me. So I don't care. I'm always in trouble. If it's not you, you just switch off, right? And you're in a meeting, you know.
Yeah. Meetings are gay. Let's go.
So gay.
That's all a chef cares about.
Fuck, dude.
Why would we have a meeting? Tell me while I'm doing something.
Yeah, but I'm there thinking, what order am I going to do my prep in? Yeah. And you're costing, every minute you're costing me.
Oh, yeah.
So now I've got to go, okay, so when I get back in, I'm going to make sure that stove is on, who's turned the oven on, yeah. So this is what's going through my head. Yeah, but it turned out to be that. So he fucked up the whole business. And then apparently there was like an underground thing where people could get in.
Okay.
Yeah, which made sense because you never saw him come in, or there was no paparazzi or anything like that.
And then did famous people keep going there? Or
never.
Dried up?
Not once I did. No, not once.
Wow.
But they used to have these little, even events at the back of this hotel that were, up until that very moment, they were going on until that very moment. This guy did that. But that was only something I remembered while you were talking about.
How could you keep that guy on?
Because that's their decision.
You'd find a way.
But also, like I explained, he was fucking useless. Any backpacker would do better.
Yeah.
Any backpacker who wanted to be there to get money to, he was just dumping, you would say bowl, and he would put fries in any bowl. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was there well after I left, but he was on a visa, and apparently he was cheap because of this. Something about it anyway.
Yeah, 20 mil. Cost you 20 mil, not that cheap.
Yeah, dude.
Is that hotel done now?
It was.
Like
it's
it's
just
over?
sort of more recently opened, but it's not. It's just fucking garbage now.
God, that would be brutal.
Yeah.
Imagine being the guy, the place.
That wasn't the downfall, to be fair, but that wouldn't have helped. Because, like, you can imagine they built that for that.
Yeah.
Like, if I told you where it was and what it is, I'm not going to mention it because I can give a fuck about them. But it was an entire thing. It was built around anonymity, boutique, everything about it.
Yeah.
And the food we were doing immediately, they hired us because we'd been to other places that had got certain scores on by food critics, and we nailed it straight away. I thought this is exactly what they wanted. Like we need the highest scores, we need this type of food, we need this we need small, we need anonymity.
Yeah.
And he completely fucked it, like completely.
And you and your head chef, the guy that you followed around, went there and made a new menu.
Yeah.
Made a boutique menu.
Yeah.
But like tasty, famous people stuff.
Yeah. Nailed it. The other, I just thought about it and then forgot about it again. I think what it was.
Maybe we should ask your dad. He seems pretty chatty.
He's gone.
We're going to get him on the podcast at some point.
We're going to get my old man on the podcast, yeah.
What a legend.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you haven't got anything else, dude, we can finish up with one more thing.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah.
I feel I have some feelings in my body from my story.
Yeah.
I leave it out there, you know, in the ether a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I've behaved badly.
I normally drive home and think about all the dumb shit I've done. And then I forget. I just need to...
Yeah, I keep them corked, like, over in that folder. Like, I've done a lot of work on myself since I was 25. Like, I had to do a lot to figure out how to be an adult and a person.
Yeah.
And I spent 10 years traveling to get away from any kind of responsibility or anything.
Yeah.
Like, chefing was this little box where I'm really good at this, and these are the things I need to be good at. Yeah. Everything else can fuck off.
Yeah.
You know? I don't have to care about taxes. I don't have to care about behavior or being an adult or being responsible or anything. Like, I'm responsible in here, but that's it.
Yeah.
You know? And it led to some, I don't know, shit choices, I would say, in the end. A lot of fun and a lot of enjoyment. I wasn't a bad person, but every now and then, my brain would do things where it was like that, you know?
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I'll find that head chef if this goes on long enough and get his perspective on the situation.
Yeah, we got to find Dion's definitely down. He's moving back to Aussie, my first head chef.
Oh, yeah. And then the guy that you talked to just yesterday, who's that?
Same guy.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, so we get him on. That'd be cool.
All right, we haven't got long left. I feel like I think the one to go with is when you were like at the highest part of your chef career, your 3 favorite chefs.
Like well-known chefs?
Like, who were your guys? Who were your 3 hero chefs when you were in the middle of your career? Who were you looking up to?
Yeah.
Or reading?
I always liked early Ramsay. Like
because of the books?
Yeah, the books were good. Just the way he went about it. Marco, and then Michael Roux. I just...
Because of the recipes?
Yeah, but like he had this little... People, I don't know, people used to... I can't remember how I even got them, but he said little snippets of him cooking. And they were really, really, really good in the way he explained stuff was cool.
All these guys are classic French though, hey?
Yeah, and that's sort of what I was into. And I still am, but it's the techniques I liked. And then you can just riff off them. Like if you... like salt, for example. You know, you don't have to actually add salt to something. You can add things like, if it's just like an aged soy sauce or a fish sauce or a Parmesan cheese or like a really nice thing, you can add to it. It has a salty nature, right? So you can't, just because they are French. But it's once you have that technique down, you can go, it needs that. Or needs this. Like citrus doesn't necessarily have to be lemon.
Yeah.
Or
so many choices.
Orange or anything. It'd be like kaffir lime leaf.
Yeah.
Or fucking anything like that. Lemon thyme. Like anything. Just but enough of it. And then and like like dried roe. Things like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking so good.
Yeah, it sounds like you were technique heavy, right?
Yeah.
Sabayons.
I think we talked about that before. It's just I love that
like sauce bases.
Yeah, and I love that maths about it. The recipes.
Yeah.
But once I've got that in my head, off you go.
You're doing a lot of jus and stuff?
Yeah, as well. But like once you got your head around the fact that how you start a jus without anything, you can kind of manipulate it through anything. Like if you take master stocks, dude,
Yeah.
even as a first year apprentice, they would ask me to keep making my master stock, which I was like, well, it's just the one that they taught me, except I was tasting it and they weren't. So by the time he bought it up, it's like, oh, okay. And I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
And I'm doing all the right things where other people weren't taking the fat off and keeping it so it would get moldy and things like that. So it is more like I would listen, I suppose, to good people. There were fucking terrible people around me, though. I don't know how I knew to listen to the good ones. Maybe I always put that down to the fact I was a couple of years older than everyone, as apprentice-wise. Like I started when I was 20. So, that's kind of old. It doesn't sound old now, but it's fucking,
it was.
So even when I was like first year, the first years that I was around, or the third years were my age.
Yeah.
So.
And like, how were these guys
So I think
influencing the cooking? You were just like technique heavy, but were you doing a lot of roast meats? They do a lot of roast meat. They do a lot of like really fine, dauphinoise work and.
Yeah, but there was a lot of experimentation with it as well, because the menu did keep changing a lot. So
it sounds like you're putting Asian stuff.
Yeah, but you're allowed. I think that's the Australian way to do it as well, which I think people like around the world. Is what I found out later, is that people do like that because it's not. French is French, right?
Yeah.
And English is, if you're in that pub and you're doing the roast, whatever's, they do expect a certain something.
Yeah, I didn't do a lot of Asian fusion until I'd come back from England. So I was actually like very English cooking, very French English.
Yeah, and that was all the chefs that were in charge when I was an apprentice. It just happened to be these absolute gangsters, but they were very English heavy, and they loved that they could experiment. So I think that's where I got it from. It's like a base of, here's how you do it, but it's not necessarily how you have to always do it.
Yeah.
So it was like a fucking cool. It's like, you can make a ravioli, but you don't have to make it a ravioli. You can, you'd fry it. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah. Just open your mind. I think that's what I learnt the most.
Yeah, I probably didn't have a lot of that because English is very traditional.
Yeah.
But But
as far as looking up to chefs, getting back to that, they were the main ones that that were obviously mainstream and very publicly known, but basically the chefs around me.
Yeah, and we can talk about that at some point, because even when you were talking, I was like, oh man, there's been a few guys that I passed through that influenced me, who were just head chefs that I had.
Yep.
Not necessarily the guys in the books and stuff, or the guys that you looked up to, but Gordon Ramsay was definitely top of my list for attitude, for like pedigree, and then he was at top of the food chain when it came to the quality of dish.
That's what got me.
The quality.
He's, obviously we probably saw him on TV maybe first. I don't know if you saw the books or the TV first. I think I saw the TV
Boiling Point
along the book with the books, but also he's the first guy on TV that actually could fucking hang with the world.
Yeah. Right?
So it's not just, I can cook a risotto. Yeah. It's like, this is 3 Michelin right here.
Yeah. And I didn't, I love the books. I got into the books, but it wasn't, definitely the attitude. I wasn't picking up a lot of like the caviar, foie gras kind of elements of it. Yeah. It was definitely the sauce work that they were doing, and like the quality of proteins that they were cooking and stuff, and how they were doing it to get like a perfect chicken breast or like a perfect piece of fish. I worked in a fish restaurant when I was in Cornwall. Mm-hmm. And then because it was like French, it was very, here's your carbohydrates, here's your protein, and here's your little thing that elevates it. Yeah. Whatever that thing was going to be, if it's like some kind of puree, some kind of like quenelle thing that you were doing or whatever. Yeah. Like it wasn't a garnish, it was like the third element on the dish that was actually taking. So even if it was potatoes and chicken and jus, you would do like a pea mint kind of like coarse puree thing or something. Like that's the thing that brings it out. Yeah. Or whatever. So I was like, and that was real high quality shit when I was 22, 23 years old. So
but, there is no garnish. Yeah. This is meal.
And I used to
meal,
hate
you know what I mean?
parsley on, like, it was just like the worst thing you could do as a chef.
Yep.
Is put a bit of parsley on something.
I mean, unless it needed it, and then you go fucking wicked.
But then I'm chopping parsley, or I'm putting it into the dauphinoise.
Yeah, I get it.
Or I'm adding it to the puree.
What I mean is, like, if you put this tuft of parsley on, and you looked at it, and then you ate it, went, oh shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's when it needed it. But I agree.
Very
like,
rarely.
I'm taking it away from your point of. Like,
but you know when people used to do those little, like, they try to take it to the point where they did those little parsley leaf crisps. They try to do something to it. I can't remember if we were doing them in dehydrators. We weren't using dehydrators.
You can fry them and press them.
Yeah, and then with the paper.
Yeah.
Even that, I was like, no, it has to be a component of the dish. And if it's a component of the dish, it has to be doing something.
100%, and it's just a throwaway extra work. That's stupid. Yeah,
and I was totally against that. So definitely Gordon Ramsay number 1. I would say Thomas Keller number 2.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
I read all of his books. I was just such a massive fan of all of the things that he did. He was another finesse guy.
Yeah,
like everything was just done 100%.
Yeah.
French Laundry was like, you know, the most amazing place. He was one of the first guys that talked about produce because he was getting the produce from the valley that was around him.
Yeah,
and then creating dishes from that.
Yeah,
like I'm sure everyone talked. That was the first guy that I read or listened to that was like talking about, you know, oranges in California, and that's why they're doing these orange dishes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and elevating the produce.
Yeah.
Not just going, here's the most fancy thing that I can cook. He's like, here's the best product that I've got and how we're going to use that in some other way.
Yeah, and this is why I'm making a dish with oranges.
Which was huge for me. Like, that's actually, like, probably one of the biggest parts of my style these days.
Yeah.
What's in season? Yeah. What's good?
Yeah.
And then I'll take it from there.
Yeah.
And then how do I want to work it? How do I want to elevate it? What do I want to do for fun? And then the third guy would have been Heston Blumenthal, because he was just doing crazy shit.
Yeah.
And when I was in England, it was like the come up of
that
his
would have been
career.
exactly the time. Yeah.
And the Fat Duck and stuff. And he was
come back just after that. Yeah.
He was doing
same time maybe
the most outrageous things, and he was asking the question on everything: why? Why would you do this? Why do you do that?
Yeah.
And I know they like turned him into a little bit of a celebrity chef with the way that he works with food.
Yeah.
But that attitude was just like...
It's just TV,
Yeah, he was a legend. He is. He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he wasn't doing like...
You can't argue any of the dishes at the Fat Duck. You just can't argue with them.
Nah.
I mean, like...
Yeah, and he was doing
the TV stuff is the TV stuff.
He's doing the sensory stuff, right?
Yeah, dude.
And he was doing... he was taking like... So there's Gordon Ramsay and then these other guys, Marco Pierre-White, Thomas Keller and stuff, these traditional chefs.
Yeah.
And he was taking that and he was flipping it to the guest's perspective.
Yeah.
And then building it as an experience.
Yeah. And
I was just like, fucking yes, dude. Like
you need that. You need that though. You need somebody to do that as well. You can't just be like, oh, this is it.
Well, because most of the guys, Gordon Ramsay, the attitude is, I know, this is it, eat it.
Yeah.
Whereas he's kind of like, hey, I want you to feel and think some experience in your life. So one of the early ones was this seaside dish.
Yeah.
And he might have put the earphones on, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And you had a little bit of noise.
Yeah, it's like listening through a fucking...
You might have opened something and you would have smelt the seaside or something. Yeah. I can't remember 100%. Totally.
Yeah.
And then you had the dish. And I was like, man, this guy's taking it to a whole different thing.
Yeah.
He's flipping it onto the guest. And actually, I got to work with him for one day.
Yeah, that's cool.
He came to the press club and he did like a symposium dinner and we did all of his dishes over the week. He didn't come until the final day.
Yeah.
And then we worked with him for that. I worked 19 hours that day.
Yeah.
I was frothing it though. First in, last out. And we did all of like the snail dishes. We did all of his classic Fat Duck dishes.
Yeah.
That we served to the people that paid a bomb to be there, and then he took them through a presentation. And he was just the coolest dude, hey?
Yeah.
Like when we saw him, he actually took all the chefs aside when he got there, and like got all the giddiness out of the way, said hello to all of us. Does anyone want a book signed? People have brought their books in, obviously. Has anyone got any questions? Does anyone want to fucking hang for a minute? And got it all. And then, all right, now let's go hit this service.
Yeah.
He didn't come in and just swan off and do his thing and shake the hands of all of the rich people and get his thing done. He specifically came in, pulled us all into a room and said g'day, and then we went and did it, and it was just so sick, eh?
I like that. So we both talked about Marco and Gordon, but a single time we said that we liked, like we were talking about their food, right? Most people would say they yell, they're rude, they're a chef, typical fucking chef.
Mm-hmm.
That's, do you know what I mean? Like we haven't even talked about it, we haven't even mentioned it because it doesn't matter. It's like the food was, look at this, the way they went about it, their drive, their everything. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't even, it's all the other bullshit. It was like, they're fucking obnoxious or whatever, but it's not how I think about it. It's not how I look at, it's the same about the fat duck, is you can just go, or about, the food is fucking revolutionary.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy that sort of stuff, that sensory stuff, but I think I was out of it by then. I was more into different things, like more simplicity on the plate by that stage.
Yeah.
But I watched all of his stuff and saw how I was very into it. The chocolate soy was fucking cool. We used to use that all the time, and anything like that was cool.
Yeah, and then
I loved.
The back end of it was like ripping things from his technique.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Is
the Paco Jet.
It doesn't mean you don't have to do the same dish.
Paco Jet purees.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
What a revelation.
But also what I got out of all that was it made everything easier. Well, maybe easier is not the right word, but like quicker, more efficient. You could use a Paco, right? You could if you vacuumed a fucking cucumber, it was
done.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was better.
Yeah.
And you couldn't explain why it was better, but it was like, was it compressed, right? And that's all Thomas Keller, right? That's come from there. But he has taken a step further, where you can compress it and then do something else to it, all before and after.
Yeah.
So
and dehydrating.
Exactly, but it's all come from. That's what I liked, is if you have that base of cooking, it's so cool after that.
Yeah. And that's almost like a little bit of, maybe the progression is like if you have like a Gordon Ramsay base, or a Marco Pierre-White base who started a lot of this stuff, and then you build on it some of these other guys in your work, like, you put a Thomas Keller on there, but then you put, a Heston on there as well. Or maybe you go find a couple of Japanese chefs that you like what you were talking about with fusion, and you take like a Heston approach with some Japanese influences from those chefs. Now you've got some fucking crazy shit going on. Yeah. Now you're putting like some vinegars in with your cucumber when you're compressing it or whatever. Yeah. Or you fucking...
It's just another technique you can try and you don't necessarily have to use. Right? Like you can still do like put a sorbet on the plate without it like turning into dust, right? Like do you know what I mean? But some of that technique might have been at some point any one of those guys. Yeah. It doesn't mean shit.
Yeah. Yeah, even just talking about it now.
Sorry, it doesn't mean shit to you when you're making it, but you've had the whole it's like this is how you
I think
if that makes any sense.
It does, absolutely. I think I feel lucky actually during my career that those guys, it went like I had to go back to Marco, but Ramsay was definitely there when I was cooking. Yeah. Heston was in his prime when I was cooking. Thomas Keller was in his prime. Sous vide came in. Yep. Dehydrators started getting used like for all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah. Like it went off, vac machines changed the game. Yeah. Not just for sous vide, but what you're talking about, like compressed fruits and vegetables and poaching. Yeah. When you compressed and poached? Yeah. That was just insane.
That's what I mean, but that's like two of those guys combined, and they might not both use them ever together, but it's the thing I got from watching particularly Gordon and Marco, was the way they treated the produce when they picked it up even. And that's how my chefs, when I was an apprentice, the same level, these were all ex-Michelin from London. They just come here because the head chef was over there. Do you know what I mean? They were all friends and that sort of thing. So I was lucky enough to learn from that. But the way you handle something, don't pick a fish up that side up.
Yes.
Be delicate. Don't slap it down on the bench. Everything deserves attention. Everything. A stalk of a parsley deserves attention.
Everything's got to get stored right in the fridge.
Exactly. Everything. But it's just the way you don't store it upside. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Yeah.
But the way, and I still do this to this day, is pick something up with care, firm and care. Like it's the way I do it.
Yeah.
And it deserves to be treated that way. And that's what I kind of get weird about. And I don't really want to get into vegans, but that's where I get it. But it's like, we give a fuck. Walk into a kitchen and watch how these sorts of kitchens treat a piece of beef.
Yeah.
And particularly a piece of beef that's been treated nicely, fed on a pasture. Unfortunately, yes, we are eating it, or fortunately, whatever your choice is. And look how we care for it. Look how it from start to finish. Because when it comes in, we go, fuck yes. Look at this shit. It's awesome. Look at the yellow of the fat. Look how it's firm. Look how it melts in your hand because it has been exercised.
This farmer's awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Exactly.
A lot of appreciation.
And not only that, we're going to order from him again, and it's going to be more expensive, but we're going to find a way to absorb it into the menu cost.
Yeah. And do you remember some of those guys coming in and showing you
100%.
their produce?
And you can look at it straight away and go, fuck yes.
And you look at that guy,
and they go,
and then you look at that.
And then you go this, and you cook it, and then as soon as you put it in the pan, you know, or wherever you're putting it, you know exactly what it's behaving properly.
Yeah.
The smell comes off it. The fat renders perfectly. You're like, we can use this.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's easier to cook when it's treated nicely.
Totally.
They are bred to eat.
Yeah.
They are. Do you know what I mean? Like the perfect piece of lamb smells phenomenal, and you can't. No one's told me that smell is good. You just know it.
Yeah.
Like it's instinct. Like you've never smelt that before. That's the good thing about my apprenticeship, being around all that stuff. Was like, what's that smell? It's like caveman shit. It's like, whew. Like you have to, you don't have to choose to eat meat. That's what I mean. I don't want to get into it, but if you walked in and saw how top restaurants treat animals, I think you would at least go, okay.
Treat animals, and then
and the rest of it too,
and treat
you're
the farmers though.
Exactly.
You're not going to go and get shit produce that's not being treated well.
Yeah.
Because you've got some respect in your kitchen.
Also, like lots of kitchens I've worked in grow their own herbs and everything. You're not picking the ones that are shit. You're not just picking them because they're there. You're picking the good ones, right? You're picking the right. You're letting them. You're letting them ripen at their own pace and using them when they're preferable. So it's not. You're not fucking anyone around. You're not.
Yeah.
And you have to and also, there's extra steps in there because you have to wash the shit out of this stuff.
Yes.
Dude, it's a one man's job to wash all this shit. Do you think we want to grow potatoes we don't need to because we don't want to? No, because they're fucking awesome.
Should be a whole episode because when I quit chefing, I went into sustainable farming. So, yeah.
But that's what I got from all these. I mean, chefs that you know and you've seen on TV, and chefs from my background. Yeah, it's been all that drive. And once you see one person do it well and treat something and say, "Hey, man, don't do that," you know what I mean? Like that fish has come from somewhere.
Yeah, and store it correctly. If I go into the cool room and the fish is all in this slop, and like, dude, what are you?
It's bullshit, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I will cut sick at that more than anything else. If you can make a mistake, that's fine. Yeah. But if we're throwing out produce, quality produce, because you haven't stored it correctly,
and also like you don't have to do it exactly, but you don't have to do it that day. You don't have to store it in a shit way because you don't have time. The complete opposite. Look after it, store it properly. It will last longer, and it will age properly. So it's like Yeah.
I was notorious for an end of day changeover in a cool room.
Yeah, man. And everyone would hate me for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 minutes, we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're going to sit here and we're going to swap things over
You
and
can
change
shake your
water
head
out.
the whole time if you want, but it's
Yeah.
happening, yeah.
Well, you got nowhere to be.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wicked. Well, that's a topic that we're going to pick up at some of the point. And actually, in bonus round, we're going to go into 10 tips for apprentices. And I reckon
All right.
there's fucking 2 just there.
All right, I'll get my pad of paper. I keep saying pad of paper.
Let's do it.
Love you.